I'm thrilled to be with you today and part of JEA's 28th Annual Black History Month celebration. This year's theme, Solutions to the Crisis in Higher Education and Workforce Impacts, fits very nicely with one of JEA's core values, Growth Squared. That's growth in our business, to be sure, but equally important, if not more important, individual growth. To facilitate growth, I believe in the importance of education, not only for our current employees, but also for our future employees, the children, adolescents, and young adults in our community.
Consequential. The decisions I made at that time established a foundation, or more accurately, a trajectory for things that would happen to me later on. I was in the College of Business, majoring in economics. There was one other African American that was majoring in economics, and only a handful of African Americans in the College of Business at the time. So we all knew each other as a consequence, and I think that was helpful because it helped us to network, relate, and share experiences. I think about that I'm proud of, that I feel is going to be a lasting contribution to JEA, to the community, long, long after I'm gone, is bringing ABE, the American Association of Blacks in Energy, to Florida and to JEA in particular. Our local chapter, our Florida chapter, is very active in raising money and providing scholarships to young African American students that are pursuing careers in energy or energy-related fields. We got to be conscious in the moment. Each moment is critical. Each moment is a moment of truth, and we have to encourage young people to make right decisions because they have lasting consequences.
Awesome. As a matter of fact, the very first time that I celebrated Kwanzaa, which I had no idea what Kwanzaa was, it was on the Everett Waters College campus. From a historical standpoint, I knew what Everett Waters meant in the community. You know, as a child, visiting Everett Waters, being on their campus, watching the growth in the area, being involved with Dr. Cecil Cone when he was at Everett Waters College, attending their basketball games, and the pride that they instilled in the community. And back in the 60s and early 70s, when they were where they're located on New Kings Road, they were an intricate part of that community. And a lot of students aspired to go to Everett Waters then because of the pride that they instilled in the community there. I think there was not a person in that neighborhood who didn't know the Everett Waters College fight song. A lot of the professors that we had at Everett Waters College had a lot of real life experience, both in the academia as well as in the working world. So often a lot of the things that we discussed, it pertained to our community, and we talked about a lot of the issues that we experience in our community and how we could make a difference in the community. When you go out into the workforce, you are going out there with that mindset that I'm going to make a difference somewhere. Being able to reach out to young women in the workforce and talk to them about my experience, oftentimes as being the only female in my group, being the only African American female or African American period in my group, and how was I able to fit in? How was I able to achieve what I wanted to achieve? A lot of students can't afford to go to college, any college at all, but to go to Everett Waters or other historical Black universities or colleges, UNCF is a godsend. And that's why I will always, definitely always make sure that I'm a contributor to UNCF.
Discovery. So college really opened my eyes to a world I was not aware of, actually. As an African American, and in the times I'd grown up, things were topsy-turvy. And I wanted to have a context for why things were the way they were. So I studied sociology to get that understanding. It led to a graduate effort. So I went to grad school under as a HUD Fellow. Got to intern with some phenomenal organizations. I interned with the U.S. Department of HUD. Can you imagine in college, I'm doing environmental impact statements. My boss has gone off on vacation for the summer and left it to me to do these impact statements on new developments that were surrounding Washington. The INROADS process worked kind of like this. They had the internship, of course, and it was a job. It supported many of their financial issues as they went to college. So every summer they could almost be guaranteed to come back to a 40-hour work for that period during the summer. But the companies also gave them mentors, which were called advisors. And those advisors really stayed with those kids for the 4 years in college, and sometimes it went beyond that. And that was important because these were senior level people in those companies who would give them information they wouldn't have gotten otherwise about how this works. And then they had what they called coordinators who would help them to maneuver through a company's processes and procedures so that they could be successful. So you put those three things together, the internship, the advisors, the coordinators, and of course the INROADS staff, then you had the formula for their success. And Jacksonville was a phenomenal operation. It began with some 50 corporations here when it began in 1989, and well over 300 students by the time I left the organization. There's no question that education is important, and there's no question that once you have the education, you need opportunities to practice with that education and to use it. Companies like JEA and others are critical and essential to giving those opportunities so that young people have an outlet for their education, to build their professional resumes, to build their professions and go on to have careers that are meaningful and also are, of course, support the community that they work in.
Extraordinary. So many people from various backgrounds there, so there were opportunities to get to know folks that didn't look like myself, didn't come from the same backgrounds, and it gave me an opportunity to really get to know how the real world was going to be. My parents always prepared me for that, things are going to be more challenging. You're going to have to work twice as hard to get where you want to be. You're going to have to be the one to not sit back in the corner. You're going to have to study harder than some other folks, or if you want to succeed. He was the first African-American member of the Duval County School Board. And a lot of people know that, but what they don't know is he was the first president, African-American president of the Duval County School Board. And he cared about education for all kids, absolutely with an affinity towards making sure that African-American children got what they needed to receive a quality education. He spent several years as the president of the Board of Trustees at Hampton and at Bethune-Cookman, now Bethune-Cookman University. What a lot of folks don't know is that he was the first person, and only to my knowledge, to be president of both Board of Trustees at both schools at the same time, so concurrently. Hampton's University, the men's honors dorm is named after him, and on Bethune-Cookman University's campus, they have the business school. that's named after him. I haven't met a soul yet who did not know Wendell and think very highly of him. All children really have an opportunity to, at a minimum, do what I've been able to do, accomplish what I've been able to accomplish, but really to go further. I want my nephews, my nieces to be able to understand that whatever they want to do, they can, and that only comes through education. I'd say enlightening. I attended Mercer in 1968, and it was a changing time for America. I grew up in Southwest Georgia on a farm, and I attended a segregated high school. So Mercer University was quite a change for me. I think my parents steered me toward Mercer. I had opportunities to attend a lot of schools because of my academic achievements. My first choice, quite frankly, was to attend the HBCU. But there was a very Christian-hearted individual from Mercer University whose task was to go throughout Georgia and help that school bring in minorities. And my parents just really warmed up to him. Well, it was a microcosm of America, especially at that time. So I learned a lot of different cultures. I learned a lot about how business works because most of my college classmates were children of CEOs of companies. They had the experience, and so through just interacting with them, I learned a lot about how business works. So when I came onto the workforce, I was comfortable. Back in those days, I started out in a CPA firm, and there were 2 African Americans in the local office. That was okay with me because I had had experience in classroom settings. I'd been successful in college, and I had the confidence to move forward in the workforce. So between my firm, Deloitte, and KPMG, we were able to start a local chapter, the National Association of Black Accountants. This was in the mid-70s, and there are a lot of other organizations that were established around that time to help African Americans in the workforce be aware of issues and to make them better contributors to their company. So I was the first local president of the National Association of Black Accountants. I'm going to take a tagline from the National Association of Black Accountants, NABAs. It says, lifting others is reclaim. I think if each individual who's currently in the workforce looks for one person, at least, that they can help move toward a better work environment and be a role model. Let them know some of the challenges, but definitely the rewards in that workplace, that will help us all. So we all need to reach down, help someone else.
As an organization, we strive to create an unbeatable team to best serve our customers. One way to be successful in creating the unbeatable team is to remain vigilant on the topic of education, because quality education that's accessible and affordable for everyone affects every part of our community and workforce. I invite you to join the dialogue on the importance of quality education.